Is it going? Okay.
It's on now.
Oh. Hello, I'm Cathleen Powell. I'm a psychotherapist and I've been in private practice for nearly 25 years. And I'm also a student of the Course in Miracles. I have practiced that since the 1980s. And I'd like to talk to you today about an experience that I have had with a new transmission that came through Kay Villar's, known as Jesus, A New Covenant. I came across Kay's videos in April of 2020. I had just finished the workbook again, and I had asked Jesus to direct me to something that would help my practice in terms of getting to the meat of the matter a lot quicker. I know you all have the experience of having clients come in, and it is essentially a complaining session from one end of the day to the one part of the session to the very end. But I had really wanted to find a method that I could have more of a laser focus. And I do believe that Jesus had answered my prayers. Kay had done a series on the psychotherapy pamphlet, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. And it just completely gave me the feeling of coming home. And from that, I explored the Jesus, A New Covenant, where there is a new look. Some people have described it as a Course in Miracles on steroids. I would agree with that, because the message of the Course is distilled into a bare bones approach that is so, it's elegant and at the same time a amazing, quick how-to study. And I started to see how the more I became involved with this work and listening to videos explaining it, as well as light circles, I started to change, and there was a new depth that I brought into the psychotherapy room, where we would look at many of the desires that were behind what my client was feeling at the time. And that is covered so amazingly in Jesus, A New Covenant. It's a completely new technology as far as I'm concerned, because there's a simplicity and a directness to explore what we would call really secondary gains for many of the issues that the clients come in with. So I started to work with them more on taking a look at what was really underneath a lot of their belief systems. And I started to see that there was a rapid speed up with even a sense of willingness about wanting to look at some of their own issues in a more direct way. I myself have had so many experiences as I work with this material, and it's hard to even put it into a a short paragraph, but I can say that it has completely opened up other dimensions for me along the lines of my own sense of doing therapy and my life, looking at where do we truly hide from God? How do we? Okay, I'm blanking.
Okay.
I'm blanking.
So you kind of talked about, you can just talk about maybe one of your experiences where you had that conversation to find out what was underneath something that you needed to see.
For myself.
Yeah, that you saw for yourself.
Okay. I'll do the Cactus Story.
Okay, it's hilarious. I think it's really good. You tell them again.
I'm sorry, I'm just so blanky.
Oh, you're so blessed. We're so blessed. Really, this is a blessing.
I have to even remember the Cactus Story for a moment. Where, oh, are we still recording?
Yes, we're still recording.
Oh, gee. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's just, it's a beautiful thing for us to share, you know, to be together. We're very blessed to come together in this.
What my desire was. And
well, that's good. If you forget the desire, you'll be at peace.
Jesus is reminding me of an experience I had last week. I am now at the center for, I'm blanking here.
That's okay. So you're here for the 90-day program. And then the way it's really simple, you know, every experience that arises in consciousness is a desired experience. Now that's a lot to unpack. But if we look at it that way, you can see actually by seeing that desire and the desire for an experience, then it just transforms everything. So every emotion, every thought is coming out of the divine power, misuse of the love that we are to deny that we're love itself. So I don't remember what you were looking at, but what was really valuable, I think what he's pointing to here is where we see the big picture of the play in consciousness that makes unhappiness an experience. We're actually being shown through the power of who we are, how we miscreate these experiences, the illusion in our mind that something horrible is happening. And do you remember what crystallized for you in terms of seeing that?
Right. Yeah. I had Jesus often talks to me in pictures. And on that particular day, I had the picture of myself. I was splitting, and I turned into two twins, the good twin and the evil twin. And the evil Cathleen had decided to take the so-called good Cathleen and push her into a cactus tree. So the good Cathleen was sitting, was impaled literally on a cactus tree with arms extended like the crucified Christ. And the evil Cathleen just snickered and laughed and said, ha ha. So it was a sense of both of those Cathleens at work. The sense for me was that I am the director of the show. What happens to me came from me. And I wanted it. I was relishing the fact that one part of me was hanging up there on the cactus tree, and it was just delightful. And I was licking my chops, so to speak, in complete joy that there was that part of me that was up there on the tree, could not move, was in pain. And it showed me that strong sense that what happens in my experience is truly desired, that I am the writer, director, and producer of this show. And when I was experiencing that, I was stunned, was the first initial reaction. But then I came to see that anything that goes down in my life is something that I first and foremost desired for myself. And the cactus tree story illustrates that so much, because there's always that part in the mind that denies, oh, this was done to me, I'm a victim again, look what happened. But in this showing from Jesus, I could see that I set it up that way. I was impaled on the cactus tree because that was what I wanted. And I remember taking many a deep breath after I saw that in living color. And also my feelings were, my feelings really had nothing to do with it. It was the sense of the desire, that part of me that wanted to be impaled on the cactus tree. And the so-called evil twin was just cheering that on. Loved the fact that I was that the other part of me was pushed on and was frozen, was not only in pain, but was absolutely helpless in terms of moving that story, because the evil twin, shall we say, was keeping it going. That was the engine for whatever was going to be outpictured from that point. So that was definitely a revelation, and an exciting one. I felt that I am responsible for whatever happens to me, and the many feelings might follow, but the first pitch in that particular game comes from me, my mind at work to create whatever the experience is going to be. That was humbling, it was sobering, but it was also elucidating.
And how does you feel this relate to like peace of mind and, love? Because everyone searches for that experience of love and peace of mind. And they're all coming into these practices really thinking that they want it.
Right. I'm freezing again, Kim.
Yeah, it's okay. So everyone's had that experience where someone comes to them and they think they want help, but if we don't see how we're creating this in consciousness and then see the picture, when you see the whole picture of it, both the caster on that what's at play in the totality, you step back and see the whole picture of it, then there's the joy in it, because you've done that and then you can undo it. You don't have to have run that kind of movie in the mind anymore.
That's correct. I do think that this whole approach, once that's identified, can be not only supremely effective, but the client does not have to relive all of the experiences in the telling. It can be a much more direct approach to helping ultimate healing.
Oh, it's just beautiful. It's really beautiful. They share so deeply. And so this is just, it's an invitation for anyone that wants to join us. We're going to have a program to explore this. It's an exploration of how consciousness works to deny itself happiness by choice. There's actually a choice in the subconscious mind not to be happy, and it's relished. This is a profound revelation, but it's a happy one. Because then we see we're not bound by the play of thoughts and feelings and emotions. We're never bound by that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, so it's just an invitation to those that just feel this call for this deep exploration of how consciousness works to create unhappiness, and how in the subconscious mind, that secondary gain, that belief that this actually gets heaven, that these experiences is a way to find love. And then when it's shown in the mind that love cannot be found this way, it's a confusion in the mind about where love is and how to get it, that it can't be found, then the secondary gain is not, it's seen directly that it can't be found by any other means, by a change in mind, a decision in mind, to no longer invest in the experience and the desired experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Yes.
it's very, yeah, so it's just an invitation we're making. So thank you, Kathleen, for sharing. And if anyone has questions, they can contact us.